Hello, I'm Emily Cherish, and this is the first episode of the 5-year reunion. A little bit about myself. For the past couple years, I've been doing audio and production for different company podcasts. So essentially, I make podcasts for different businesses that want to use it as part of their marketing.
Shout out to our technical producer, Emily on the computing. 谢谢 Emily.
The Zabars podcast is produced by Emily Cherish.
I grew up in Newtown, Connecticut, attended Newtown High School, class of 2016. When I visited my hometown, Newtown, I ran into someone I went to high school with, who I haven't seen in 5 years, who was like, Emily, you're always posting cool stuff. Later that night, I was scrolling through my own Instagram, and it dawned on me that this was literally such a terrible representation over the past 5 years because a few things were left out, such as learned Chinese, had a 2-year lawsuit, lived with a 90-year-old woman for a year, attended 11 universities, and none of that was reflected on social media. This made me really curious about the gaps not documented in not only that girl's life that I ran into, but on a larger scale, the people I went to high school with. What are some of the things people went through? What are some stories from the past 5 years? And literally, where is Amanda Walsh right now? So I devised a concept. I'm gonna go on a road trip to meet people from high school and have a conversation with them about the past 5 years of their lives. I want to hear about how they've changed, about formative experiences in their lives, and where people are at right now. To keep things even, I entered all 435 names of our graduating class into a Quizlet study deck and hit shuffle. I messaged the first 50 names on Facebook Messenger, and by process of elimination, either being too far, unavailable, or some people really just still haven't downloaded Facebook Messenger. And I'm not going to be the one to send them an invite because, we haven't seen each other in a while. I gathered a group of 23 willing participants. I organized a mini road trip to meet the ones who moved away and a trip back home to meet the rest. This podcast series documents my conversations with my former classmates and my trip to meet them. Welcome to the 5-year reunion. Today is the first day of my road trip. I got up early, forgot all my socks, and hit the road. Road trip!
Starting route to Providence.
You must be so tired. Okay, but you have your music. You can listen to Drake or something. But so long. Why you drive all the way?
I know, it's a fucking long trip.
When we lose imagination, we can fly to Never Land.
What's been up?
Not too much. My dad's birthday was the other day.
Oh yeah, I meant to text him. I forgot.
Seem like the time to love her and leave her and disappear right under.
You have arrived at your destination.
My first classmate, I had one class with her in high school, and it was an honor to be in the same academic space with her. Such a genius. Haven't seen her in 5 years.
I love this notebook. It's so great. There are ideas scattered between notebooks like this, things I might want to make, and then I describe ones in more detail here. But
so these are all different inventions or different.
Yeah. These are ideas for future inventions. I'm Abbie Kohler, usually known as Abbie, and we're in Providence, Rhode Island. So I graduated from Brown last May in 2020, and since then I've been working full-time on the company that I started while I was at Brown.
Okay,
which
break
has been
it down.
lovely.
I've been wanting to ask, how did it start?
Basically, I was taking this medical illustration class my junior year at Brown. I absolutely loved it, and it meant that I was in Rhode Island Hospital all the time because I was illustrating step by step how people were doing these procedures. I've always had an artistic side. My mom's an artist. I love art. So I tried to take some art all through undergrad, and this one class in particular was awesome because it just melded the medical stuff that I love with art. I was in this class and I was in Rhode Island Hospital a bunch, and I overheard someone say how difficult it is to do CPR. And it was just kind of a light bulb moment of, I am studying engineering, maybe I have the capacity to fix that. I have a good friend who's now my co-founder. I went to him and was like, hey, I have some ideas. Let's work on them.
Exactly what is the idea?
Yeah, so the idea that we've developed is a piece of software that can measure the depth and rate of your chest compressions while you're performing CPR. The thing, when you're doing CPR, the thing that actually matters is the depth, because people's hearts are all very physiologically similar in terms of how deep they need to be pressed in order to pump the right amount of blood through the body. But where they're very physiologically different is in bone density and in like the strength of your muscles. So the actual amount of force you need to push is very, very different person to person. Imagine like doing CPR on like a really, really fit 20-year-old versus an 80-year-old. Like it's gonna feel very different to reach that same depth because, you know, their bones and their muscles are just very different. So this measures depth. So if someone has a cardiac arrest, they can use this software, which is on your phone, and hold their phone in their hand while their hands are in CPR position.
What are some of the problems that it's solving?
So one of the big problems is that people, you know, when they're about to perform CPR, their adrenaline's rushing and they go way too fast. So this will, you know, give them the knowledge that they need to say, oh, I'm going too fast, I need to go slower. If I'm going to save this person's life, I need to go slower. Depth, people often go too shallow, so it'll tell them, okay, I need to go deeper in order to pump an adequate amount of blood and keep blood flowing to your brain to keep it alive, even if your heart's not working. You know, people are really nervous to try CPR at all, so I hope it gives people more confidence. A lot of people take CPR training at some point in their lives, like, you know, whether they want to be a babysitter or they go into some sort of profession where they need it, because there are tons of them. There are 40 million Americans with CPR training requirements. A lot of people have taken it, but then actually don't feel the confidence if they're in the situation to try it, which is unfortunate. It shows that, you know, training in its current iteration isn't really working and isn't really effective, and people need tools on top of that, which totally makes sense. You're performing a medical procedure. Of course you need help. I hope people will feel assured that, like, if they have an emergency or if someone around them has an emergency of any sort, that they'll be able to step in and do something. I want to give people their power and their agency back.
What was the business side of things?
So working on the patent was one of the first things we decided to do. For a lot of reasons, it made sense to try to protect the intellectual property surrounding the idea. So we filed a provisional patent in June of 2019. And then filed 2 more, and then we wrapped it all together and filed an international patent application.
Oh my God.
That following
amazing.
June.
What needs to be included?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Well, first a title, and then you need inventors, and you need an invention. So you need to claim things that your patent that make your invention unique. So you claim things that are unique and non-obvious to people skilled in the art, which these are all like ridiculous legal terms. I at one point decided I was going to read the Manual of Patent Examination Procedures, which I promptly started and did not read because it is long and full of legal jargon. And then you describe in great detail every aspect of your invention, both the unique and non-obvious things that you're claiming and all the other things. So even if something like has been done before, but you're using it as a part of your patent, you want to describe that.
How long is an application?
Oh, man. Ours is, I feel like it's somewhere around 30, 40 pages.
Oh, my God. I guess 2 questions.
Sure.
What's your biggest dream with this? And, like, what's your biggest dream?
So my biggest dream with this is that we get it FDA cleared. We go through this thing called the 510K process, which is this process by which the FDA says, like, this is good to go. You can use it on real people. I want this piece of software to be available for use on real people by anyone. And I want it, ideally, I'd like to see it on everybody's phone.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it somehow come as a default part of...
Like the iPhone, you know how they have the health
exactly.
things? Yeah.
Because a lot of people who do die of cardiac arrest don't have to. It's a really unfortunate, unnecessary death in a lot of cases. Crazy enough, cardiac arrest is the #1 cause of medical death in student athletes. Young people.
Cardiac arrest means your heart stops.
Effectively, yeah. Your heart pumps because there are electrical signals that go through it. So the electrical signals stop functioning properly. So essentially your heart has stopped pumping and the electrical signals are just kind of misguided and miswired. Yeah, exactly. They are very MERP. That is what has happened. I feel like I had parents who each had 2 very different ways of thinking. My parents are so fun and wonderful and lovely and funny, but they definitely have like 2 vastly different interests career-wise and in what they think is like cool and neat and what they get excited about. So, you know, having 2 very disparate angles of, you know, things that are interesting growing up was really, really good for me. At Brown, my first year, I really didn't take any art. I was like, I'm here for math and science. I'm going to just take math and science. I started to take art again and really like focused on making sure I was taking a lot of art and loved it. I had so much fun. Like I feel like I need both elements to be there in order to be like a whole person. And in order to like have moments of creative inspiration, like the one I had to make, you know, the device that I'm making.
Abbie. This has been a pleasure.
It's been so nice.
Thanks so much to Abbie for being on this. When I decided to make this podcast, I planned to do some cool, unique things in the places I visited. Things I could really only do in those locations. So after finishing up with Abbie, I walked around Aeropostale for an hour and was in bed at 7. After a good night's sleep, I packed up my things, checked out, and went to the parking garage to retrieve my car. As I pulled up to the pay meter, I was given clear and concise instructions by the pay station's automated message. And with that, I was off to Springfield.
Starting route to Springfield.
You smile, I smile. Oh,
You have arrived at your destination.
This next classmate, there's just no proper introduction. So,
I'm gonna bother you real quick. My friend Emily wants to meet you guys.
hey,
Come in.
what's up? You guys all law students?
Where'd Kayla go? Oh. So are you guys on part 3 of the syllabus?
We're on the stage.
Thank you. Yes, part 3. Yes.
Someone
Oh,
just called
this-
Amanda from the closed room.
This is like if I had an identical twin. This is Kayla.
Hi.
Hey girl, what's up?
Literally, all they're doing is reading literally the outline that I already have. Like, that's not helpful.
Oh yeah,
Like, if I
someone in
don't-
our study group
if I
took
don't-
our outlines and sent it to the other broads.
reading it. They're reading it word for word as if we don't know.
I'll go back over the case reasoning when I'm done. And Brooke wants to do the same, so that's not helping Brooke either.
Literally,
because
not.
it's
it's Eric being like, text it to me. Ava texted. No, I swear to God, if he tells her to text it to him one more time, I'm gonna bitch slap him across the face.
Those are my words that he wants. I've sent you my outline. Hi, my name is Amanda Walsh. We are currently sitting in a seminar room of the Western New England Law School. So I go to law school. I happen to be able to fit Emily into my busy schedule, but she made time for me and hers as well. It's during finals time of my first year of law school. I've been abroad for 2 years, traveled a lot, hated the school, decided to come home and transfer. Went to my number 2 school, which was Simmons out in Boston. It allowed me to come out of retirement and swim again. Come to fruition, 5th grade Amanda's dream of going to law school. So I went to law school. And surprisingly enough, I mean, not surprising to anyone who knows me and my full schedule, I'm still swimming. I'm also the captain of the Western New England women's swimming team.
Oh my god, very cool.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Okay, after high school, you went to London to attend Richmond, the American International University in London, and then you transferred to Simmons 2 years later. So what did you think about London?
I didn't hate London, I hated the school. It was more of like everyone just wanted to know everyone's business because no one had anything to fucking do. It was a toxic roommate that ruined the whole situation for me.
Story time.
Story time.
Yes.
I lived with a girl who was from England, would harass me. One day tried to cut my toe off in the middle of the night.
Wow.
So it just like wasn't a good environment.
What?
She just started making up like these horrendous rumors about me and my best friend.
What were the rumors?
Just like that we were like dating. Like we were too close to just be friends.
I think you have a dramatic flair. Or is that fair to say, like, drama,
Finds me?
Drama finds you.
I'm like a magnet.
You are. We met your friend group.
Yes.
What is the dynamic?
My friend group was formed because all of us girls saw a boy we liked. My friend Brooke, who I'm living with next year, so I'm moving out of my apartment, moving in with her. And then next to her is my friend Scott. He went to Quinnipiac undergrad. In front of Brooke was Eric. He's from Canada. Great, because I love hockey. So sitting behind me was Brett. We work out together. And the other side was Eric. Such a wholesome man. Next to Jack was Ava. Oh, shit. Anything I say, I would say to their face kind of thing. Like, I'm not someone who's going to be like, oh, this fucking bitch, like, blah, 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 behind their back. But I'd fucking look them dead in the eye and be like, yo, I think you're a bitch.
Who was high school Amanda? Because I try to explain this to people, and it's so hard to put this into words unless you knew you. Like, I would say enigma. hilarious. Like, these are some of the words that come to mind. Like, who were you in high school?
I think senior superlatives say it all. I was voted most unique runner-up. I would say that I am a very unique person. I was an athlete in high school. I swam. I was a leader. I was in student government. I did the morning announcements. You know what? Good old Good Morning Newtown High School. Like, you know,
People are going to be listening to this and be like, oh, like right when that comes up. You had cancer.
Yeah. So I had transferred and I was at Simmons. And I wasn't feeling well, so the trainers had told me to like go to the doctor. And you know, doctors, they don't always listen to you. And they're like, oh, you're fine, your blood work's fine. But my mom's a diabetic, so she was like, let's go to my specialist and see if they could fit you in. And so I went to see an endocrinologist, and she does routine ultrasounds. So it was my first visit, that was just like routine. And then I guess she saw like a lump. And we were sitting there and she was like, all right, well, I'm going to do a biopsy. And I looked at my mom and I'm like, well, you've had one, so probably standard procedure. I don't question thorough doctors. I question doctors when I don't feel like they're hearing me. So she did a biopsy and then I didn't hear anything. I was in Florida training, swimming with Simmons. We were swimming 6 hours a day. Like, I had no time to think about anything besides eat, sleep, swim. It was New Year's. I had like established myself at this university in 6 months. Like, I really felt like I had a place. Came back from Florida and I was cooking dinner, dino nuggets and smiley french fries, like weirdly enough, but I get a phone call and it was like 6:30 and I was like, that's weird, like doctors usually close at 5. Answered the phone and my doctor goes, are you sitting? And I was like, no, I'm making dinner. Like, do you want any? Like, what do you want? And she's like, Amanda, you have cancer. Didn't explain anything, just like hit you with the C word. And then all of a sudden I heard like ringing in my ear. I couldn't like process it. And I was like, just call my mom. And I hung up the phone. My roommate at the time like came out of the kitchen and she goes, you good? And I was like, yeah, like for the first time in my life, I like couldn't find the words. I didn't know what to say. And I think it's because I was 21 and I never thought I'd like be faced with something like that. I was like, how am I gonna tell my mom? Fuck, Angel lose it. Like, she'd jump in my coffin with me if I died. Like, she wouldn't know how to live. And then my next thought was Tim. I have a twin. Tim can't function without me. I was thinking about all of the other like moving pieces in a chess game that would be impacted if the king was checked.
You literally are the king. That is a great analogy.
I called my mom and she's crying. And I'm like, this is not what I need right now. I need you to like get it together. Like, let me slap you across the face and let's move forward.
Oh, God.
I need a game plan and I need it now. There was cancer on my thyroid and around my lymph nodes all through my neck. Obviously, between now and high school, I've lost 70 pounds. But like, there was no, like, I was trying to figure out what it was that I couldn't lose weight. I was working out. I swam all through high school. Like, I was an active person. But like, I also didn't like carry the weight well. I had always known like something didn't like, wasn't adding up when I was in high school. But like, no one would listen to me because my blood work was fine. And I had surgery in February of 2018. Went back, I finished the swim season, didn't take any time off of school. I had surgery during spring break. Like, there was no way I was missing a beat. Like, I made it work for me. I'm all about making life my bitch. Like, I'm not going to bend for life. Yeah. Life is going to bend for me and figure it out. I got to, like, ring the bell finally in July of 2020. Which was great because I had just graduated from undergrad.
What are your thoughts on like things in the next couple of years, either personally or professionally?
Professionally, I came to law school wanting to be a prosecuting attorney for sex crimes. I wanted to be the voice for children, Law and Order SVU type shit. Because that's like really what got me interested in law. Since being here only a year, I've found out that I'm really good with constitutional issues, really good with writing, but more so I'm really good with like litigating and speaking. So I just want to be able to help someone, whatever route that takes. Honestly, it would be kind of cool to be in corporate law and kick some white men's ass just in a suit all day and worry about extortion and money and corruption would be kind of cool. Personally, I hope to have like someone with me, like a partner. I love saying like it's a partnership, it's a team. Like that's what I'm looking for. I'm happy in my singleness. I love being alone. I think high school Amanda would have been afraid to say. like she was always around people all the time, that she didn't like being alone. Like the silence was deafening and uncomfortable. But I think it's funny to think about like our younger version of ourselves, and we're not the same person anymore. Just like I haven't seen you since high school. You're not the same Emily. Like I'm getting to know you in this moment. You're no longer the person I knew. So I think that's what's really cool about you doing a podcast like this.
Yeah, for sure.
People we went to high school with, and like, where are they now? And just like checking in, because a lot of times people keep the same qualities and they've developed themselves, but they're not the same person. I decided to take a step back and like take a social media hiatus, and that stemmed from being in an alcoholic relationship with a partner who was definitely like not kosher. We broke up because I was at a party. I took my shirt off. I had a sports bra on. I work out in a sports bra. I'm on a swim team. I wear like no clothes ever.
Yeah.
And he was like, you took your shirt off. You're a thought. Like, fuck you. Like, you cheated on me type bullshit. So I like, me being reasonable. Sorry. People like that you can't be reasonable with. Right. But I took the reasonable approach, texted him, and I was like, well, to me, cheating is like physically or like emotionally like connecting with someone else. And me taking my shirt off wearing a sports bra isn't cheating. Like, that's you projecting your insecurities on me. And sorry, honey, I know I'm hot, but I wasn't flashing my tits out for anyone at that party. I was playing strip Jenga. You want to move on? You play strip poker all the fucking time. What a double standard. I can't make it up. I genuinely can't make it up.
Can you describe Newtown?
I think Newtown's very much like a wholesome community, but we are definitely like kept in a bubble. Like, you don't see a lot of like the world. Like, a lot of my experiences were outside of Newtown, and I love Newtown, but I would never, it's not that I would never go back, but I'm in the mentality of like, I don't want to die within 10 miles of where I'm from. So like, it's nice to have something to go back to. It's not like home anymore. Like, I feel like I've outgrown it. But it's nice to like come home and like touch base with your roots. But it just like, I feel like I have bigger shoes to fill with like where I want to be in the next 20 years. I was going to run for president. Like 2036, I'm going to lose. 2048, I'm going to win. And then we're going to have a new constitutional convention and like fuck up those framers.
Okay, that was like the best way to end this. People are going to be really like happy to hear from you, I'm sure.
Shit, if you told 15-year-old me like that people like actually like cared what I had to say or like what I was doing, like she wouldn't have believed it. Because she would have been like, fuck, people like think I'm just like this loudmouth fat girl who just like was just like there. Nothing is better than like being home and occasionally forgetting to shut off your Tinder and like getting people who would message you who like didn't talk to you in high school and be like, shit, do you know how good you look now? And I'm like, oh, that's a roast. That's a little dig. Maybe try again tomorrow, because I'm not gonna even engage with that. But like, you tried, you shot your shot, and now it's my time to reject.
Okay, that was the way to end the podcast. Thanks so much to Amanda. Before heading to my next destination, I decided to stop at a local Italian food store called Mom and Rico's Specialty Market. The owner of the store also happened to be the author of the first book written about bocce. You really did write the first book on bocce.
Yes, I wrote the book. I don't know how to write, but I did write a book. I'm trying to get it into the schools. I want to see that 80-year-old play with that 15-year-old.
Have you been living in the area?
I've been here all my life. What's your name?
Emily.
Emily. Oh, that's spooky.
Oh!
I'm not a writer, but I'm trying to do the first bocce game on the moon. And Emily is a spaceship that drives these billionaires to the moon. But I won't let them go to the moon unless they give back $50 million each to make this world a better place for the schools and parks and playgrounds.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Have a good one. As I was leaving the store, I was startled by the man's voice coming through what appeared to be an outdoor PA system he had installed.
Thank you, Emily. Beautiful people. Thank you, Emily. Play bocce.
Oh. And with that, I was off to Baltimore.
Starting route to have arrived at your destination.
My last classmate is someone I have seen in the past 5 years. She's a great friend of mine. Okay, here's another question. Why are so many of your friends lesbians? There's me.
Because I am a loving and accepting person.
Oh, can it?
I don't know. Do you think you have an answer?
I don't know. But on a Freudian
How
level,
many lesbians are you friends with, Emily?
0.
Oh my god.
0.
My name is Madi Duffy, and we're in my room in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay, so how do we know each other?
From school. Originally 7th grade.
Aren't we like best friends? So what's been going on for the past couple of years?
College at Belmont University, and I studied social entrepreneurship. Yeah, I did not like Belmont. Yeah, never really found my groove there. Not finding my, like, a core group of friends, and I think that was the root of it, like, just a lot of loneliness. Belmont gives off the persona, basically High School Musical, which I love High School Musical.
Not to be mistaken. I love High School Musical.
It's, like, very music-oriented, and everyone loves Belmont, allegedly.
Or, like, Belmont bots post that on Yelp.
Yeah, one or the other. Has anyone ever looked up a school on Yelp? I don't know. And then when you're there are, like, the people that just thrive at Belmont, and so you see them, and, like, it's not that way. The two people that I will hold on to their, like, friendship past college is Olivia and Anne McCall.
Mm. Do you need a cough? What were some of your expectations leaving high school that didn't really pan out?
I guess pressure, but also just, like, ingrained expectation of what college should be. Mm-hmm. That I think goes without saying. Mm-hmm. And that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
But
you're like, no body shots. And it was just, like, really painful for me.
And also just, like, seeing everyone else. Not, like, everyone, like, random people from high school, but, like, my good friends.
Yeah.
Not you, per se.
Me and my lawsuit. Like, are you happy with where you are now?
Yeah.
So where are you right now? Like, what's going on?
So I live in Baltimore, and I'm part of a fellowship program called Venture for America. Mm-hmm. That helps.
That literally sounds like a Capital One, like, isn't that like...
They do. I literally have the Capital One Venture card. Wait, do I? What is it? Yeah.
Can you just, like, pay a fee to get a better card?
Where is this coming from?
I'm saying it's because I got a $650 sign-on bonus with my Chase Sapphire Preferred. Now, all I needed to spend... Well, I had to spend $4,000 in 3 months.
So Venture for America.
Venture for America. So what's Venture for America?
So Venture for America is a post-grad fellowship program that's, like, entrepreneurial focused. Venture for America helps college graduates get jobs at startups or, like, entrepreneurship focused organizations, more growing US cities rather than, like, New York and LA and San Francisco. Through them, I got the job that I have in Baltimore.
What do you do for your work? Mm-hmm. And I ask you this because you have so much free time during your day.
Not anymore. Okay, truly, the past few weeks, you can ask my roommates. We could get a soundbite in here of...
We will.
Of Sharon talking about how busy I've been the past few weeks.
Does Maddie actually work?
Yeah, she works mad hard, and I don't even know why. Literally. Literally, I don't understand.
Okay, but for the people that can't see Sharon right now, there's a gun to her head and Maddie's holding it.
So I work for a company, a nonprofit called Innovation Works, and they, we support social entrepreneurs in Baltimore in the more underserved communities to, like, grow the local economies and, like, create jobs in Baltimore. And so we run programming, like, with, like, business startup curriculum for the entrepreneurs. So I have 2 titles, program coordinator and marketing associate. So as program coordinator, I help with programs, and more of my job is handling marketing for Innovation Works.
That sounds cool. If it were real.
I really do work, I swear.
No, that's cool. How do you act different? Or carry yourself different?
Do you think I do?
I think so.
Can you answer?
Yeah. I'd say you're more, like, rough around the edges is not what I'm saying, but...
Wait, let's leave it at that, though. I like that.
Okay.
I've realized that I want to work remote for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Wait, really? That's interesting?
Yeah, why is that?
There's so much flexibility, and I lay in my bed all day.
God. Like, on a physical level, should you be working remote for the rest? Why, though? That's so, like, crazy to me.
I also want to work by myself.
What's, like, your biggest, if everything could work out and you have this, like, hut in the middle of Alaska and you're working...
That's not what I would like. My dream career would be getting paid to do like some sort of creative work, but not, I don't think I'm too creative of a person.
What are some like problems with this exact point in your life?
Not being sure enough of myself or anything.
How do you cope with that?
I don't know. Just contemplating.
That's at your remote job. If you said, I just like work on my manifesto.
I feel like I'm coming across as too antisocial. That's not me. Everyone knows me.
Thank you to Maddie. And this concludes the first episode of the 5-year reunion. Next week, we're going to be in my current residence, New York City, to talk to 3 other people I went to high school with. You'll also hear from a 90-year-old woman I used to live with and some people I met outside of Chase Bank. Subscribe to this podcast everywhere you listen. See you next week.